Hey internet, it's me Jasmine, and I am going to do a bit of a, I don't know what this video is going to be. It's going to be sort of like a little debrief of my life. Why am I making this video? Well, I have gotten to a point in my life where I kind of need an extra outlet. So I'm making one. I have suffered a lot in the last few years. I have now had 3 head injuries. I have an acquired brain injury, and it kind of ruined my life. The entire foundation of my life was destroyed. I would think that I was quite successful. I worked as a teacher of the deaf. I was highly motivated. I did 8 years of university level, my master's level of study, and I have kind of, that all information's all up here, but I can't express it in the way that I used to be able to. I get quite tired, I get quite fatigued, I am unable to, for example, I can't sleep properly, and that makes getting up a chore. It's hard for me to kind of calm down and then wake up, and then when I can, it's hard for me to sort of get started. I've lost a whole bunch of things. Like, I was really organized before. You have to be organized to go through and get your master's level of education, and I can't even like think of like cooking something. I don't know, I can't figure out the first step. So I'm going to use this video as a chance to like debrief, kind of figure something out, and sort of just like explain what it's like. I'm the kind of person that kind of likes to gain extra perspectives. I kind of need to listen to other people's stories. Then I can understand where they're coming from, and I enjoy doing that. Like, I constantly used to watch documentaries. I can't do it as much now because of the brain, but I do that, and I'm hoping this will help other people out. Yeah, I'm hoping, wanting to kind of figure my way around the world in my life. Maybe even like figure out a place, like a direction to travel in, rather than one that's just floundering and getting stuck in a rut. Okay, so what is this video going to talk about? Well, maybe I will talk about my accidents and my journey through that. I haven't had major injuries, thankfully, not as bad as other people who have had brain injuries. All of my injuries have been really stupid accidents brought on by me. One was bending over and then hitting my head on a soap holder in the shower. The other was forgetting to put a seatbelt on in a 4x4 bus and smashing into the ceiling. And the last one was I was chasing the dog around and ended up, my legs gave way and fell and hit my head into the corner of the bookcase. And it is what the doctors are right. The more concussions you get, the more head injuries you get, the worse it gets. My first one, nothing. Neck issues, that was about it. Second one, pretty bad. It stopped me from being able to work as a teacher. But I was able to recover pretty quickly from it, relatively quickly, like relative in regards to the current one that I'm coping with. That one, I only really took only 6 months, 8 months, and then I was actually quite good. I was productive. I was in a spot where I felt like I could actually go back to work at some stage. My third one, it's now been, I think, 2 years. Worst memory. So don't trust me on that. While I've gotten better in the 2 years that I've been recovering, it has not been at the same rate. It's been quite slow, and I don't think I'm at the point now where I am confident enough to return to some sort of work within a school. That's what I'm talking about, within a school, back to my old job. I could probably do something different. Like I've been tutoring now, tutoring Auslan. So that's what happened. That's what happened to me. That's kind of my story. In regards to what did I lose? I lost language. I lost my speech, my signing, reading, writing. The worst is physical writing. That is the worst for me. That aspect of language is terrible. Speech came back pretty quickly. Auslan came back paired with speech, so they keep flowing. Like, they're not always equal. There's one of them is better than the other for some months, and the other one gets better than the other, depending on how much I practice or I'm able to work on them. Typing is better, but figuring out where to start is a major issue. So when I type, I generally use text to speech. See, I'm getting tired. So that's my language sort of at the moment. Don't hit your head. It screws with your brain. It screws with your brain chemistry. Like, the amount of anxiety and issues that I have because of these things, it's pretty bad. Like, yeah, before as a normal person, I had anxiety, I was depressed, I had all of that, but I could cope. I was working, I had issues, but I got through it. I was able to figure out ways to function and to work and be normal and like be a typical person. Now, everything is 1,000 times harder. It's 1,000 times harder. The anxiety that I have, the depression, the overstimulation that I get, it's terrible. No one understands. Other people who haven't had a brain injury really don't understand the amount of changes you go through. Like, your brain is no longer your brain. I would say often that Jasmine, me, the thing that I call me, Jasmine, I'm not in charge of my brain half the time. My brain is in charge of my brain. I know it's hard to explain. Like, for example, one of the worst times that I've had, the most extreme fatigue reaction I had was I had a huge meeting with my rehab people, and At the end of the meeting, I had a huge physical reaction to it. Jasmine, the thing that I would call me, went into a sort of disassociative state and kind of was floating in space. And then something else, still me, still the thing that I think is in charge of my body. But Jasmine controls it most of the time, or before the brain injury, is mainly in charge. That thing was in control, and it was a scary experience, man. Like, it was weird. I was floating in space, and I couldn't control my body after that for about an hour. And once Jasmine had calmed down, like, because Jasmine's freaking out, crying, yelling, tears, just pain, and like waves of stimulation, overstimulation, like waves of, I don't know how to explain it, but just waves of sort of electrical impulses going through my body. That was way too much. And then it just disconnected, and I was floating there, and then people had to kind of just like shove me in a dark room. Thankfully, my rehab people, amazing, they knew what to do. But once Jasmine calmed down, like it was like finally, like, switch has been turned back on. I was finally back in control of my body, and it was like I was finally back in control. And that was the first time I realized that there is a part of me that I am not in control of. Like, most of the time, majority of the time, I'm in control of it. Like, my body does what I want. It used to. Now, not so much, but I'll get back to my point. Most of the time, my body does what I want. But it really pointed out that typical people don't understand that they're not always in control. Like we're not always in control of our bodies. There is something there that, like, survival instinct. Maybe it's like the lizard part of the brain, the reptile brain, that will turn everything off, take over control, shove you out, and just make sure that the body is functioning, make sure that it gets through this. And then once everything's calm, then it hands over the keys and goes, it's okay now. It's okay. I looked after everything. It's all good. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there for the first video. Hopefully this helps someone out there to understand that they're not alone. Like, brain injury is such an isolating thing, and it really, really is hard to explain to people what exactly is going on. So I'm going to try and use this as an opportunity to explain what's going on with me, and I hope it helps other people to understand that they're not alone. Yeah. Bye, internet.